safe and sound. I can lift you up. I can show you what you want to see and take you where you want to be. You could be my love. Even if the sky is falling down, I know that we'll be safe and sound. We're 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 safe and sound.
Good evening. Welcome to the Heart of Hampton. I'm Richard Paris, an artistic director of the American Theater and the Charles H. Taylor Visual Arts Center. And this is episode 16 of our conversation series, which brings you into our artistic living room to meet cultural and civic leaders from around coastal Virginia. As we enter the last weeks of summer, we are gearing up for our exciting virtual seasoned announcement party, now just 10 days away. But more on that at the end of the show. So before we welcome our first guests, I want to share a reminder that the Hampton Coliseum will again be hosting a round of pop-up drive-in movies this weekend on Friday and Saturday. It's a terrific and fun and socially distant way to get out of the house for a beautiful late summer night, rain or shine. In partnership with Atlantic Coast Audio, this week's movies will feature the animated film Sing, Bad Boys for Life, starring Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, the family adventure movie How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World, great fun, and the legendary Rolling Stones' Havana Moon, a concert of the legendary Stones band recorded in Havana, Cuba. So get your tickets in advance by visiting hamptoncoliseum.org. That's hamptoncoliseum.org. Tickets are available only in advance until 3 p.m. the day of show. So tonight's Heart of Hampton is incredibly exciting because it showcases the tenacity and commitment of entrepreneurs in our community. Despite the ongoing public health challenges, these two businesses are forging ahead, continuing to create a vibrant community for people to live, work, and play. And before we reveal these fantastic new destinations, we want you to check them out in the fall. Let's hear from our very own City of Hampton Economic Development Office, a department of the City of Hampton that works diligently to support, encourage, and advocate for the continuing business development of our community and the region. And joining us tonight is Tony Williams, Business Development Manager for the City of Hampton. Welcome, Tony.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thanks for joining us. This couldn't be a more perfect time to have economic development join us, given tonight's guests.
Absolutely. Phoebus is definitely a part of the Heart of Hampton.
It is. So, Tony, tell us a little bit about what economic development does. Everybody hears this buzzword, but tell us what it does to help Hampton and really the region prosper.
So there are many parts of economic development. My role specifically is to focus on Phoebus and what's going on within the Phoebus district, businesses, residents, and just the health of Phoebus. But there are many other roles. You know, we in economic development look to help small businesses because small businesses are very important to our community and to the economy, as well as economic development. We reach out to the big companies, the Kroger and Target and those larger chains to bring to offer the residents of Hampton. And there's just a whole lot that goes on. So economic development is really, they try to keep the health of the community for small businesses, large businesses, and to keep our residents happy and have what they need.
Right. Well, I love the new Kroger in Riverdale Shopping Plaza. I have gone in there, hundreds of times before the lockdown, and I'm a huge fan of their Kroger pickup now there. So big businesses, small businesses, big fan. So like most of us, I'm sure you've been in overdrive, working to keep businesses and solutions afloat, as well as encourage new development. So can you talk to us a little bit about the most recently announced CARES Act recovery grant? I think it was 1.5 million that was earmarked for Hampton and Newport News. Talk to us a little bit about that.
So the CARES Act grant is funds that are available to help businesses that qualify get through this trying time. As you can imagine, restaurants, small businesses, they have had a challenge. I mean, we know that the doors haven't been open like they normally would. So the CARES Act was made available to offer some assistance to help businesses get through this trying time.
Right. Well, it's great news and a terrific example of a regional partnership, and it's also important to recognize how economic development and these emergency efforts intersect with the creative economy. When we locked down in March, so many people were focused on and worried about, rightfully so, our restaurants and our retail establishments, and those of us that are in the nonprofit world and the arts world and the music world. We were able to forward look and to forward think, because we knew that if this pandemic lockdown continued, that there would be a huge crisis in the arts community and in the creative economy, because of course stages are not returning. So it's really important that we're looking at the big picture, and we're really thrilled that Hampton's Economic Development Office is leading the region in doing that. And I think that that what you all do there is really important, and it is important to look at the big picture.
It is, and I appreciate that. And I think forward thinking is very important. And I know my role is representing Phoebus. And I represent the Partnership for a New Phoebus, and that is a nonprofit organization as well. And typically fundraising for the partnership, some of it would come from events and gatherings of people that we are just unable to have. So we are trying to forward think, and how are we going to overcome, a challenge of our own where we can't get people together like we traditionally would. So
well, every day presents new challenges, and at least we hope that some triumphs. What initiatives are you working on for the fall?
Well, in Phoebus specifically?
Yeah, or Hampton.
Yes. Okay.
I mean, given the lockdown, I mean, it must be challenging to sort of forward look again.
So where my focus is Phoebus, and your guests tonight also are great representatives of Phoebus. We are trying to figure out, what is the next step? How do we move forward? And I'm working on a project that will roll out soon called Postcards from Phoebus, which will be a virtual campaign of shooting individual businesses, little videos that will be available online, like a virtual postcard, to give people an experience of what they will have when they come to the restaurants and businesses, even the American Theater, or whatever we decide to do. So that way we have some sort of cool new concept where we can't have the awareness that we would normally have of an event.
Right. Well, I have to say, we are an anchor here in Phoebus, and we love to partner with our restaurants, our cideries, and our soon-to-be breweries and wine bars and new restaurants. So we are really looking forward to continuing that partnership with new partners. So Tony, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, I know that.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, we look forward to working with you and partnering with you and having all of the new business in Phoebus, as it's wonderful to see new faces and have just new opportunities available to everyone. So thank you again, though, for having me tonight.
Oh, Tony, this is a terrific way for us to lead into tonight's guest and show their hard work. And thank you for advocating and supporting Phoebus and the city of Hampton and the entire region. And we'll see you again soon.
Sounds good. I appreciate it.
All right. Bye, Tony. So now let's talk to some of Hampton's newest business owners. 1865 Brewery opens this fall and promises to become a can't-miss destination in Phoebus. This exciting venture is the result of a partnership between co-owners Whitteney Guyton and William Billy Comer. And they are making history as Hampton Roads' first Black-owned brewery. And I am thrilled to welcome both of them to the Heart of Hampton. Whitteney and William, welcome.
Hey.
Hey, guys. Wow, this is an exciting but yet a challenging time to be starting a new business. And
yeah, right?
I have heard how much work you have both put into this venture.
Yeah, it's been it's a labor of love, but we are very, very, very excited to be a part of Phoebus, to be a part of history in itself. So it's both of us are business owners and we own other businesses, but this one here we're very, very excited about.
So do I understand that your meeting began with a different project and then the stars aligned for the brewery? I mean, so what's that story?
So Billy and I, or William and I, he's a contractor and he was working on one of my buildings. I have a pharmacy and an adult daycare that's opening in Greenbrier. And so we were doing our weekly or whatever walkthrough, and we were talking and just conversing as we usually do. And he was like, hey, man, listen, you want to open a brewery or a distillery or something along those lines in Hampton? And so I'm one of those type of people that I'm a right now person. So I'm like, yo, let me see it right now. Let me see what is going on right now. So I either will do it or I eliminate it, like, whichever one. So Billy's like, all right, hold on, Whit, He always trying to tell me to slow down. He's like, all right, we're going to get into the building tomorrow, okay? And so we got into the building, and he showed me, because where we were going to do, where the brewery is, was going to actually be, I think, a restaurant that he was going to do. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, but they had already started doing some of like the brewery things. And he's like, yo, we can get that equipment and we can put it into this other building and this, that, and the third. So I was like, okay, so where's the equipment at? Like, where is this stuff at? So he's like, okay, I'm gonna take you. And so he took me into the brewery and I was like, yeah, I want in. Like, let's do this. It was just, I don't know. I felt all warm and fuzzy inside. Like, yeah. I got it. We have to do this and we have to do this together. And,
so, I mean, you feel all warm and fuzzy inside when you're in the building. So clearly that energy just clicked. I mean, what is it like to be in that building and have the energy and the feeling that you get from the building that just says, yes, I have to do this?
Well, it was twofold. Billy and I wanted to do something together. It's very difficult to find like-minded people out here. A lot of people wanted something for nothing, or they don't have the same work ethic that you have, or you just don't get along well with, people and their own attitudes and things like that. And Billy and I just, from the beginning, because when I first met him, I didn't want to meet him. I didn't want to meet him. And we met from a mutual person. I was like, what? I don't need another contractor. I don't even know him. I don't want to meet him. But then we met and we kind of became like instant family. And he became my brother. I became his sister. Even our families kind of just started meshing. And so we knew that we wanted to do something together. So when I was in the brewery and I was in there with him, it was just, I think it just felt right. What do you, Billy, you feel the same way?
I feel the same way. I'm not very vocal today. I had some oral surgery. So yeah, she's talking on all the points that I could agree with. So yeah.
Yeah, we just had that alignment, and like, you know, I wanted to be a part because he had other things that may be going into that building. And I said, hey, I'm going to get in where I fit in. Wherever I fit in is, you know, I want to make it happen. I want to get it done.
Well, and Whitney, you're relatively new to beer making. I mean, where did you pick this up? Is your wife a beer fanatic? Is your mom, your dad, is your I mean, this is a hobby that you picked up last year without thinking it might turn into something bigger. Where did that come from?
I have no idea. Listen, I have no idea. Like, okay, so I'm always busy and I'm always working, and I do certain things as an outlet so that I can decompress. And I know people are like, well, you got into beer and wine making and things like that to decompress. And I'm a nerd, you know, so it was something that I could study. It was scientific behind it. And so I was like, I literally just started going on Amazon and just started buying up as much, you know, different things to home brew. And
the home brews, yeah.
Yeah, and I just started buying stuff and buying yeast and this, that, and the third, and started fermenting things outside on my balcony. My wife was like, if you don't get all this stuff, all this brewing stuff, and find a place for this crap in the house. I started it last year in August in 2019, and you know, I wasn't thinking about making it a quote unquote business or anything like that. I started like playing around with things and even with supplements and all that other type of stuff. And it was just something to do. It was fun. I started making wine as well. And I mean, it was just something to do and it was fun. So
well,
8 months later.
I was going to ask this question of William, but since he's still recovering from his tooth extraction.
So make him talk. He'll be fine.
I mean, so 1865 Brewery has a particular impact. So, you know, William, if you can, you know, journey through the pain, tell us a bit how the pair of you came up with that name and what it stands for.
Dirty through the pain. Okay, I understand. So 1865 came about with me and the person that we actually have the building through, which is Lou George's. We sat in his office. Actually, we sat in the gym.
We sat in his gym. It's in the midst of COVID, where the gym was closed. Right. Yeah.
Doing the World Trade Center. His gym is in the World Trade Center, and we was, you know, brainstorming about, you know, the names and because what it was called, Traffic Brewery, something like that. Yeah. So we was coming up with different concepts, and we wanted to actually have something that signified and something that we could get behind. So the 1865 was pitched and it was like, wow, that's impact. That's a big impact for us, not only being African American, but what 1865 stands for. So that, you know, that resonated at home for both me and Whitney. So that's how we came up with the name of, you know, 1865 Brewing Company. And after that, it's just, you know, we took off.
Well, you're doing very well for soldiering through the pain of a tooth extraction.
Mm-hmm. Four
teeth. So you guys are aiming for an October opening, which is of course perfect for a brewery, right? I mean, October.
Right. Oktoberfest.
So you're still developing the menu. But give us a hint as to what we can look forward to in October.
Go ahead.
Just different. It's a clean, crisp beer. Different from, I guess, the regular breweries. We got some hops from Portland that no one else has in the area or probably anywhere that we kind of locked in early. Well, Randy locked in, I guess, through his courtship with people over in Portland.
No, it's in Poland.
Poland, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
So Poland. So Yeah, Portland's not.
Who cares about Portland? No, we care about Portland. But
Right.
Right.
No one else has these hops. And I think we're really excited about that. We're excited about incorporating different wellness to our beer. I know it sounds funny, but we have CBD that we're gonna be, abstracting to put in our beer. Just a little bit different wellness to the beer.
Yeah, our beers are gonna be very balanced, seasonal, fresh fruits, all natural products. We're doing some crossbreeding with the different hops that we're gonna have imported. We are also doing coffee as well. So we're doing coffee in the morning when we're brewing everything. we're brewing everything. We're gonna have coffee.
We're definitely going to have to talk to you about our annual Bluegrass and Brew Festival, because we're going to need to all have you all part of that. And
absolutely.
So
we have Billy is building this ridiculous outdoor deck off the brewery, and we're going to have live music. We're both old people in the music industry as well. Mm-hmm. So we're going to have a lot of live music, a lot of eclectic. It's not going to be one type of genre. We're going to have a lot of things that people are going to just kind of sink their teeth into. It's going to be fun. Our whole entire vibe at 1865 is really like it's about the community and having fun. Like we're going to be your cheers, man. Like people are going to come in and everyone's going to feel welcome and loved, because that's how the atmosphere of the building and who we are. So that's when I say we're excited about who we are and what we stand for, and even with the 1865, our tagline is "Freedom starts here," and a lot of people come at us like, what does that actually mean? And for us, it means that, in 1865, there a lot of things, of course, was happening. And of course, that was the end of the Civil War. And for me, that's where freedom has to start somewhere. And when I'm talking about freedom, I'm not talking about just with freedom of slaves and things of that nature, but I'm talking about humanity. There was a humanistic quality that had to start to happen within the United States during that time frame. And so things there has to be a start. Now, we're not finished by far, but there has to be a start of something somewhere. And I think that's for me, that's where the birth of the nation is. That's what we started, because that's when we became the United States. And so for 1865, it's united. It's for all of us. It's a united front. And everyone is going to be able to sit down and have not just a good beer, but a good time. And so for us, freedom starts here. It's more so of your freedom of your day starts here. You had a bad day, you had whatever, that starts here. If you had somebody to talk to, or just want to have camaraderie, that starts here. So that's how 1865 is going to be in reference to the community, and being not just a destination for the community, but a destination for anybody who is, not just a history buff, because we got a lot of historical factors that we're putting into the actual space, because we found a lot of artifacts underneath the floor once it was dug up. That was a very big part of Phoebus. Being that I'm from Chicago, that area was called Little Chicago for a little while because of Prohibition, and we found some old Al Capone bottles underneath there. So we're gonna have a lot of that stuff on display. So we're gonna have a lot of fun at 1865.
Phoebus has a very exciting and sometimes checkered past to it. So
I'm finding that out.
and it sounds like you are building a kind of community center with beer taps, which I think I speak for our entire community at large when I say I cannot wait for you to open your doors and bring people together from throughout coastal Virginia, and bring them together through beer, food, entertainment, and much more.
You can't get more American than that right there.
That's correct. Right. Well, our viewers, whether you're watching live or whether you're viewing us later, you can find out more about 1865 Brewery at their Facebook page or their Instagram account. And I don't think that you need it, but we certainly wish you the best of luck. And Whitteney and William, thank you for joining us, and thank you so much for bringing a much needed establishment to Phoebus. And I hope your jaw and your mouth feel better soon.
Yeah, because he actually talks a lot. Like, no, don't think it's me. That man talks a lot.
I will believe it. I will believe it when I hear it, and I look forward to hearing it. I look forward to hearing it at the brewery.
You will.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon. Aren't they amazing? I mean, just to have that amazing energy in Phoebus and to have it in Hampton is exactly why people choose Hampton. So, from a beer bottle to a wine bottle, our next guest is in the final stages of opening what I consider to be an essential business in Hampton, a brand new wine bar. Co-owner Chris Fox of Foxtail Wine Bar is joining us tonight to talk about all things wine. Chris, welcome.
How's it going?
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Excited to finally get open and get going.
Good. Well, trust me, I am a soon-to-be regular. I can tell you that this project is years in the making, and I'm looking forward to hearing a bit about your relationship in Hampton. You grew up here, right? But you've spent time overseas and lived in Chicago. What made you come back home?
Just looked around for jobs for a while after I left active duty. Ended up going to school at ODU and looking around. When I did spend time overseas, I was looking for that wine bar feel, somewhere cool, relaxed, somewhere you could take a date to. And
yeah.
We have places, but not what I was looking for. And so looking around, and because I've grown up in Hampton, we just happened to be going down in Phoebus, and I was like, you know what, this would be the perfect place for a wine bar. And so
I couldn't agree more.
But it kind of came to fruition. I have one of my partners, Antonio. We spent tons of time traveling all over Europe together, and we talked about it like, wouldn't it be nice to, go and own a wine bar somewhere or own a business. And, a lot of people talk about owning a business or starting a bar, but not a lot of people actually do it. So
right.
Saw the opportunity to work for myself and bring some of my awesome partners along with it. So here we are.
So you mentioned a time in Vicenza. Was that your first real introduction to wine?
I wouldn't say it was my first introduction. It was when wine is more prevalent than beer, and it's also about $2-3 for a decent glass or a decent bottle of wine. You learn to like wine.
Yes.
But yeah, so when I was stationed there, we frequented a vineyard right up the street, and they definitely catered to the American buyer with the whole horse carriages and winery tours.
Was that La Dolce Vita?
It was the same owners. They used to have a different winery called Le Pagnole. I was looking at their wine opener just now, but they've actually branched off and started an even larger winery outside Vicenza.
Right. So what did you love about Italy?
I love to travel. Definitely fell in love with the wine and just being able to go and see something new and something different. And we have things like that here in the States, but nothing's as old as when you're over in Europe. We only go back, 400 years?
Right. Well, I love the fact that Phoebus is going to have a wine bar. I have said I've been here in Hampton for 5 years, and I have said that this is the thing that is sorely missing from all of our time in Phoebus. Talk to us a little bit about how your military background in sort of influenced your work in setting up a wine bar, and you talked about your co-partners, and so tell us a little bit about that and how that sort of has moved you forward.
So a little bit, I guess we'll go back. I was going to school at ODU for GIS. My background in the military, I'm a cartographer, but by trade, my title is geospatial engineer. And two of my business partners are also in the military. They're analysts. And then our third or fourth partner, she's got probably 10 years in the beer and food industry. So she's our resident expert as far as restaurant tiering goes. But I ended up using my mapping skills for figuring out where the central location was for, I'm not sure if you're familiar with food deserts, but there are also bar and restaurant, well, as far as grocery stores go, but restaurant deserts as well. So I used my GIS skills to figure out kind of a central location. Not to mention I was going to school every day, going across the bridge tunnel. So I would frequent Mermaid Winery and a few of the other ones over there, waiting for traffic to die down. Realize like, hey, for the people getting stuck on this side of the water, we really don't have somewhere we can stop and go.
Right.
Wine specific.
Right. Well, I was fascinated to learn that you used your cartography and geographic information to sort of solidify your business plan for Foxtail.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's amazing. I mean, what did you discover by putting those together?
So doing my research and talking with my analyst buddies, we've realized that, or come to the realization that people are only willing on average to go about 17 minutes away from their home. And obviously there's a demographic of people who are not necessarily familiar with wine, and I wanted to bring that to them. And Hampton just fit the bill for all of it.
Right. Well, you're going to be just down the street from the American Theater, which is terrific for our patrons, even better for me. So tell us about the space that you've designed. I see it behind you. It is extraordinarily exquisite. Love it.
So it was definitely a blank canvas when we walked into it, and it was definitely rough. The building originally was built in 1902. And from what we can tell and find, it was originally a Model T part store, which is kind of interesting. So I'm a car guy, so I always thought it was kind of pretty cool. The bar itself came from a Masonic lodge out of Blackstone, which was over 100 years old. The metal flashing along the walls that I used, that was from a barn that I tore down that was over 100 years old. Kind of to keep the 1920s theme without referencing COVID, kind of messing everything up. But even the ceiling tiles we've done with golden, kind of like that architectural look.
Yeah, I love that. I love the tin ceiling, which is fantastic, and just what an exciting addition. I mean, so do you have a personal favorite when it comes to wine? And will your list be a mixture of what people say, old wine, old world, and new world wines?
Personally, I'm an old world wine fan, but I'll drink anything. So I'm not picky by any means. But my personal favorite has been the dark red, a Vino Nobile, if you will, which is noble wine from Italy.
Well, so I think this is an excellent time to start our tasting.
I think so as well.
I think so as well. Now, I have cheated just a little. I have actually, the wine that you have sent over to us, the Albino Armani, is that correct?
It's an Albarino.
An amazing Prosecco. I've already opened it so that it could be open. And this is something that you're going to have at Foxtail when you are open, yes?
That is correct.
And I'm going to be able to sample this in our Hampton Arts 30th anniversary wine glass, champagne glass. So what are we tasting? Tell us how to smell it. What's important in doing that? So give us a sense of that.
Well, I will start off that I'm not a sommelier. I would like to, and I am studying for it. But you want to at least swirl it around 3 times, not anything too crazy. Well, you might be a little too high. So interesting fun fact, champagne and Prosecco you want to use in a normal size glass, because at the end of the day, it is still wine. So it's hard to smell. Oh, there you go.
I always come prepared.
I like where your head's at. So you want to swirl it around 3 times.
All right.
Give it a sniff. What do you smell?
Oh.
Somebody's asking for Lambrusco. Of course.
It smells absolutely fruity and sweet, but it smells very clean and very fresh.
I agree.
It has a crisp and freshness to it.
Mm-hmm. Now you want to take a little sip, leave it in your mouth, maybe pull in a little bit of air, and then swallow.
Oh, that is unbelievably delicious.
It almost has a 7-Up bubbliness to it.
It's very light. It is not. It doesn't have any lingering aftertaste, and it's just really effervescent and brilliant.
I agree.
Wow. Well, that's really wonderful. I'll just put that right here and continue to do that. So I'm glad that, and we have our Facebook friends that are saying, Jessica Step White says, I'm enjoying some cava.
Also a very good choice.
And Amy Lee Smith says, sounds right up my alley. Well, join the club, Amy Lee Smith. We're all up for that. So something else to know about Foxtail is that you also have an Airbnb rental on the 2nd floor of the venue, which is an amazing idea.
Oh yeah, it was a little hard to get it at first, but it's turned out amazing. With them having it listed, it pretty much booked out about a month right off the bat. So I couldn't ask for anything better.
Well, I can imagine people booking a stay at your Airbnb, enjoying a show at the American Theater, having drinks before and or after at Foxtail Wine Bar, having dinner at one of our amazing restaurants locally, and then relaxing, having a wonderful night. We have some pictures of it, and it just looks absolutely charming. How many does it accommodate?
There's one queen size bed, and then there's a pull-out queen size bed. And I'll have to give accolades to Morgan for that. She was the brainchild behind designing all the accoutrements that go along with it.
Now we have a fun photo, and I'm not sure if this is some of your wine bar partners or if this is you. We have a great fun photo of you all in vineyards. Now, are these your partners in Foxtail?
Yep. So the one in the middle, that's Morgan. The one on the left, that's one of my best friends, Antonio. He's the one I was stationed over in Italy with.
I mean, unbelievable. So Chris, talk to us about what are your long-term plans for the wine bar? I mean, I hear that there might be some Virginia wine tours planned for the future and some other in-house events.
So we've been talking with a couple other companies and trying to get one of the it's not a party bus, but a party bus, and maybe coming here and having a catered breakfast, maybe getting with 1865 and doing some coffee. And then shooting up 64 because we've got 4 wineries within a couple hours. So just hitting them one at a time, maybe have a catered lunch, and then head back here for the end of the wine bar.
I love that. And make sure that you keep in mind, once we announce our season, doing something involving a great performance at the American Theater, because we would love to be part of that. I mean, this just sounds terrific. I mean, the synergy that is being created by people like yourselves and Whitney and William, and just really being able to have this collaborative sense of entrepreneurs. We love it, and it all just sounds terrific. I mean, it's just amazing to have these kinds of people here in Hampton.
Oh, absolutely. And especially for you guys, because you're involved in the arts, we are looking to have paint and sip nights and potentially yoga, COVID dependent. Obviously, we can't have too many people too close together, but definitely looking forward to having paint and sip nights.
Well, I know that all of our patrons that will be here when we announce our season will love to just walk down and have a glass of wine or a bottle or two. So if you want to find out more about Foxtail, you can visit them at their Instagram account, and they'll be open soon. And what's your projected opening date, Chris?
We don't have a specific date. Sorry, there's a bunch of motorcycles driving by in front of the bar. Of course.
Welcome to Mellon Street.
Yeah, but if everybody follows us on Facebook and Instagram, as soon as we have a set date, we will let everybody know.
Good. Well, Chris, thank you for joining us. And if this Prosecco is any indication, I think we are in good hands.
I definitely appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Chris. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Have a good one.
You too. We are so glad to welcome these two amazing new businesses to the community, along with the Baker's Wife, the new restaurant from the proprietors of downtown's The Grey Goose. Phoebus really is the place to be. And we're proud to be part of the creative economy here. And so that is the perfect segue to remind you of our countdown to the September 8th special episode of the Heart of Hampton, when we will announce our 2020-2021 season at the American Theater and the Charles H. Taylor Visual Arts Center. A virtual season announcement party. We'll talk about upcoming performances, share some new ticketing options, talk about curated and juried exhibitions, and the evening will include some surprise appearances from national artists that you will not want to miss. Our entire team at Hampton Arts is preparing for our welcome home season at the theater and the Visual Arts Center. So until then, stay healthy, stay safe and sound, and most importantly, find the inspiration in the heart of Hampton. Good night, everyone.